everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the period of July 26th to August 1st. Okay, let's get started here. Now, bearing in mind that we are all going through a huge transformative time because of the Lionsgate portal, which opens today on July 26th. So depending on when you're watching this video, you're probably experiencing some feelings of uncertain changes coming up, almost like a feeling of anticipation, but not sure what you're anticipating. So let's jump right in here for Taurus and see what messages we have for the week of August 26th to, July 26th to August 1st. Okay, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. 8 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Okay, Taurus, what I can see for you here is that there is this interesting new inspiration that is, like I just said, stirring up within you. It almost feels like you're excited about something or anxious about something or anticipating something, but you don't know what it is yet. You don't know what it is yet. It's just this new emerging energy that you can feel on an inspiration level, okay? It's really inspiring, but this is the interesting thing for you, Taurus. This idea is sort of starting to get you freaked out a bit because you don't know what it is yet. All you can sense is that something's going to change, or there's going to be a transition or a life cycle change, okay? But you don't know what it is yet. All you know is that you feel this like stirring feeling. You almost feel restless, and you find yourself just like having a lot of inspiration towards something that hasn't taken shape yet, okay? Very interesting. And that is creating this feeling inside you where you're like, well, I don't want to go anywhere I haven't been before. I don't want to change up the status quo. Like when I see this card combination, what it makes me feel here is that the idea of changing the status quo is creating some uncomfort for you on an emotional level. Emotionally, you're not wanting some change right now, Taurus. That's not what you want. Emotionally, you are happy in the status quo, or even if you're not happy in the status quo, it's better than going through something that could be completely unfamiliar, as the Eight of Cups suggests. It's unfamiliar emotions caused by this new stirring of inspiration. Very interesting. Now, when you look at the future, Taurus, what's top of mind for you is you don't know. You just know it's going to be very different than right now. You don't know what it's going to look like. You don't know what the shape is going to be. You don't know yet. It's a new you, right? It's a new you. It's a brand new you. You've got the Ace of Rods here, which says that you're being inspired and led down an inspired path that's causing you at this phase to feel kind of restless because you don't know what shape it's going to take. And then I see the Page of Pentacles here, which makes me think that not only are you going down a new inspired path, but you're also going to develop a new sense of self. Like you're starting a new I am statement here. You're starting a new statement of who you are in the physical world. And it's really interesting because, again, you're not sure what it's going to look like yet, but you can feel it. It's really interesting, Taurus. This is a very feeling sort of reading. You can feel a lot of this stuff, but you're not sure where it's going. And I said Eight of Wands on the bottom of the deck, which is a card that says go for it. Use your inspiration, use your imagination, use your intuition. Let these things guide you to do something and be creative in some way. But again, this is in reverse, so you're not sure how yet. It's interesting. You're overthinking it. That's for sure. You're definitely overthinking it, and you're not tapping into your intuition as much as you could be. Okay, there's the High Priestess in reverse, and there's the Eight of Swords upright, suggesting that you're really overthinking all the outcomes and you're not tapping into your intuition, which actually could help you. It could really help you. And so if you're starting to feel like, this vibe where you're overthinking all the outcomes and then you find yourself almost not choosing anything because you're afraid, you're just afraid. You're afraid of the consequences of any of these options. That's going to stop your Ace of Rods dead in its tracks, right? Fear is the sort of, I don't know, it's almost like it negates inspiration, right? Like having fear and feeling inspired, it's almost like it does bring it down a bit. It doesn't necessarily nullify it, but it's like when we feel afraid to take a chance on something that's new, then you're going to sit here. You're going to start overthinking it, right? That's the one thing fear is really good at doing. It makes us overthink. It makes us really overthink. And I mean, it's good to look at things to understand and have mental clarity about the actions that you're taking, but sometimes intellect and judgment and sort of this mental discernment and applying reason and logic sometimes isn't always going to work when you're working with an inspired idea or a creative passion, or when you're tapping into your intuition. Sometimes you just have to trust. Yeah, like it's hard to be afraid and trust at the same time. Usually that would, not be in alignment. So it's an interesting time for you here, Taurus. Just like all the other signs, everyone is going through a big shift. And I think it's because of the Lionsgate portal opening, which will be open until August the 8th. So I think people are going to really be feeling this energy for the next couple of weeks. Now, in your mind, Taurus, you really do believe that you're capable of anything. You know that. In your mind, you're capable of everything and anything that you put your mind to and your heart to. I think the only thing blocking you right now is this idea that you have to have all your ducks in a row before you do anything. It's almost like there's a part of you that's like, unless I know exactly what's coming emotionally, I can't prepare for it. And it's interesting. It's almost like I feel like I want to say to you, you just need to be trusting yourself more. Trusting yourself and trusting your intuition that everything will happen in its divine timing. And that right now, if you're feeling restless and you can sort of feel the beginning of this transition, but you don't know where it's headed, sort of like, without sounding trite, enjoy the ride. You don't have to know where it's going to participate. If you trust your intuition and your imagination, right? Like when you trust these things, and then we see the Page of Cups also, which on the bottom of the deck, which is a time of transformation, Hanged Man, time to maybe sacrifice something that you are feeling a little emotionally blah or bored, right? You want to celebrate. You want to celebrate and you want to see your wishes fulfilled. But right now you're at a place where it's almost like you're imagining the worst case scenario, and it's really interesting because you're looking at it almost like in a very interesting way, Taurus. You're looking at it mentally with a lot of worry, and then when you look at yourself, you're saying things that are very practical, like, if I don't work hard, then I won't see any results. Well, some things just fall into place, right? Don't discount that. It's almost like you have decided that the only way things can go ahead is a certain way, and it's not going that way. So as a result, you're sort of finding yourself going, what's going on then? Like, how come my efforts and skills aren't yielding the results that they should? Well, because this might not be a time to apply effort. That effort might actually cause some resistance to the path that you need to be on, if that makes any sense. Sometimes when we're overproductive, or we fill our day so that we have no time for reflection or creativity or passion projects, we're just doing things to pay the bills and just be busy and productive. It's not that's not always going to be what brings in the greatest wish. Sometimes the greatest emotional wish can come in just from listening to your intuition, listening to your imagination, and transformations that we can't control, like transformations that are just divine timing. And I really feel like that's what's happening right now for you, Taurus, is that there is a cycle here that's starting, and I think it's being timed by the Lionsgate portal opening. Google that if you're not sure what it is. There's so much information about the Lionsgate portal that it's really interesting. It's just a time of intense energy coming at us, and it's time to it's a very transformative time for all the signs. If you check out my Instagram live reading that I did for this week, then you'll see that every single sign received the death card, in their reading, which suggests a rebirth, which suggests a renewal, which suggests a new life, something brand new starting. So it's really interesting. I think it is timed perfectly with all of the energy we're getting from the recent full moon and the Lionsgate portal opening. It's a very interesting time to be alive. Okay, let's get an angel card here for Taurus on this transformation that they are trying to manage here, when really you don't have to manage anything. Just go with the flow. We see holy love and blessings and abundance for you, Taurus. So that really says, look how the screen lights up. That says to me that you just need to just go with the flow. Try and turn that mind off a bit. Try not to have to plan this out. You're not going to be able to plan it out with logic, okay? That's only going to further you on the overthinking it loop. So it's time to just tap into your intuition. You know, maybe do some activities that you would normally say you're too busy to do. I mean, the Holy Love card is that you are surrounded by angelic love. You are surrounded by it. So, I mean, that really makes me feel like you should, I don't know, that you must feel this on some level, this protection, this safety, there's a net under you, Taurus. You don't have to plan everything. The universe has your back. The universe has your back, and it's providing blessings and abundance in divine timing. So as you require, it shall be provided. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to overplan it. You don't even need to sit in a place where you're struggling against the external world to try and understand yourself. You can understand yourself as it is with just your internal guidance. And it's interesting to see blessings and abundance with the King of Pentacles in reverse, because it's almost like right now you're not able to be this Midas, this King Midas that touches things and they turn to gold. Everything he touches turns to gold. The universe is going to provide for you. It's almost like you are spinning your wheels trying to make things happen, and it's going to happen on its own. It's almost like the more you force it, the less outcome you're going to find. You know what I mean? It's like if you chase a positive moment, if you chase something that you want, that becomes the focus. The focus becomes that you don't have enough. Do you know what I mean? So it ends up working against you. The idea is to just accept what you have and be grateful for it. And that gratitude brings in more. Do you know what I mean? That gratitude will bring you closer to the abundance you're looking for. It's a very interesting, it's almost backwards than what you would think. You would think that, you know, if we desire something, we have to chase it. No, you almost have to embody it. Once you embody the thing that you desire, you start to attract it. But if you start thinking along the lines of, I want that, I need that, I'm going to take action to bring that closer to me, I'm going to chase that often will put you in a place of scarcity where you end up attracting more opportunities that show you lack rather than abundance, because your focus is on what you're lacking, not what you have lots of, if that makes any sense. It's something to consider, Taurus. It's really something to consider. Interesting reading for you. I really think that this week is going to be one where you need to sort of slow down in the thought process. Try to let the inspiration guide you. You know, in the moments where it starts to feel uncomfortably unfamiliar, if you're like, oh, I don't know what's happening here, just take a breath and do something that makes you feel inspired. Do something that makes you feel connected to yourself, because that's going to be where you find some of these answers. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're leveling up and you know it. So just let it happen in its own time. Let it happen in its own time. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me, Taurus. If this has resonated for you and you'd like a personal reading, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you very soon for the next reading. Okay, sending lots of love and light.